What's interesting, when artists write material and then for whatever reason time elapses, obviously the artist itself changes.
Yeah.
Do you feel that music that you wrote back then that you're performing now, since you reformed, captures that same energy of back then that will appeal to this audience now?
You know, I'm not sure if it'll appeal to the people who know us because it's so different and it's been a while since we've done anything, like released anything, but I think it's a good representation of who we are. We've become better musicians over time, obviously, even though we haven't been playing. We've all still, we've all been playing in other projects and been keeping up with stuff. So I think the music, once we get it down, it'll be better than it was back then, but it's essentially going to be the same stuff at its core.
What about you, Steve? How do you feel about that?
Well, it was like falling off a bicycle. I mean, once we started playing together again, it was like we hadn't missed a beat. So I guess technically we were transported back to the day that we stopped rehearsing. Yep. So it was, I think it's kind of like, even though there's that big 8-year gap, for us it's seamless. It's the same. Yeah. So it
feels
good.
No different.
Yeah, it feels no different. We're, we still goof off at practice. We're still very serious about how we play our stuff. I mean, we all have the same mentality. The only difference is that, I'm fatter and grayer and everybody else is
my hair shorter.
Sexier,
my hair is shorter.
Yeah.
That's what, yeah.
Black metal audiences worldwide, there seems to have gone to a whole new evolution of extremity.
Sure.
Not that there's anything wrong with that, because that's the whole point, but right. It's gone to the point where, like, it's become ridiculous.
Formulaic.
It's become to the point where, granted, you don't think of musicianship top tier in black metal. Right. It's supposed to be raw and dangerous, but it seems that the image is more of an influence now, more of a priority.
Sure.
And here you guys are back, 2015, with material from back then, and we're all older. Do you feel that material will be able to break these new cult black metal genres?
No. I don't. The thing is, I would say our music is not going to appeal to like people who are. I mean, we do have a lot of fans who stuck with us from the mid '90s who kind of see us as a black metal band. I would say we're not a black metal band at all, really. We're more of just a metal band with black metal influences, death metal influences, and all that. So, I don't know if it'll appeal to the black metal audience anymore. I mean, we all have a black metal pedigree. I've done stuff with Krieg for many years. Steve has been a part of a lot of stuff. He's also played live with Krieg with me a lot. I mean, we've been a part of that scene, but we haven't really, as far as Noctuary goes, we've been kind of moving away from it musically, at least, not so much personally, but in terms of musically, we've been moving away from that. Not consciously. It wasn't something
still
we
sneaks in there every
right.
once in a while.
I mean, we're still huge fans of it. We still have a lot of friends in the scene. We still play with those bands, but it's just one of those things. Musically we grew, and we're taken from our influences more. Yeah.
Talk to me about this new recording or re-recording that you're planning on doing.
Right. You can talk about it, Steve.
Well, I'm going to just drop Joey's name since he's standing right here, but he had the idea of re-recording When Fire Breeds Blood with just this current lineup, which is, the longest standing lineup that the band has had.
Yep.
So it'll sound a lot fuller, a lot more, I wouldn't say produced per se, just cleaner in general, and because a lot in recording has changed, every day.
Yeah, technology has changed dramatically.
Exactly.
Yeah. So this will give us a chance to basically re-record that album and just make it sound better.
Yeah.
Overall, I'm not saying that it was inferior in the first place, but it's just a new take on it.
Exactly.
A better take on it.
We're doing kind of what.
Happy with that record when it came out?
I wasn't happy with the production so much. I was happy with not necessarily the performance entirely, but I was happy with the songs and what we did with it. But in terms of like the production, I was kind of disappointed in the way the guitars were a little bit thinner than I would have liked them to be. And that's kind of a response to that. I'm like, let's get in the studio. Let's just it's going to be kind of like what Dave Mustaine did with Megadeth and remixed everything, and what Ozzy did with Blizzard of Oz. He recorded the old stuff. not to slight the people that recorded it, mostly it was actually me and John, our old bass player, and Rob. Our original tracks will still be there. Rob's original tracks, my original vocals will be there, but I want Steve's bass on there. I want to re-record my guitar parts and then have Jeff contribute as well. So
what a good way to introduce Noctuary to not only a new fan base, but also to reconnect with the old fan base.
Exactly, yeah.
Now, will you be adjusting or falling into the technology trap of the studio, or you want to, minimize the humanity of the recording and make everything perfect?
No,
that's become a problem
I
in the
think
last decade.
we're very anti that. We're not into that perfection kind of thing. I mean, there are a lot of mistakes on it, and there's things that we can't fix, like we won't be able to change. All it is more of a production thing. We want it to sound fuller, and we don't want it. We even don't want people who originally liked the album to hear it and go, "Oh, the first one was better." We want it to be something where people who liked it at first will still appreciate it. We're not going to change it so much that it will be unrecognizable.
Or maybe catch something new that they didn't catch the first go around, because we're technically not playing it that much different.
Right.
But with a better production, you'll be able to get the full experience.
Like the nuances. Like there's some parts. I think there are some parts that Jeff didn't even realize that there were like acoustics in there, and so every time I played, he's like, "Oh yeah, I forgot there's that acoustic part there." So it's kind of stuff like that, like these nuanced things where you'd hear them in headphones, but if you're playing it like on a stereo, you're really not going to hear it. The little subtleties of that album.
Now, you mentioned Krieg. You're going to be doing something with Krieg as well?
Yeah, well, I've known Neil for many years. I performed on stage with him since I think 2000. We were his backup band many times, and I even performed on the Isolationist record when he reformed and did his first record back. And we've been in touch for a long time. I said, hey, we never actually done a split. He's much more prolific than we are. He's probably released 500 records by now.
He's very active.
He is.
No.
But I talked to him. I said, hey, how about next year celebrate our 20 years of friendship essentially? Let's do a split. And he said, yeah, and we can figure something out in terms of what label we'll release it. We don't have any plans. It's just kind of a talk right now, but something to kind of celebrate. We've been in cooperation or in the black metal scene together for 20 years now, so it's one of those things. He's an old friend.
New material. Have you guys been working on new material, and how's the chemistry after this gap?
New material, not so much. New old material, yes. The chemistry is great. I mean, it's like Steve said earlier. I don't know if it was caught on video, but it's like we didn't miss a beat. We got back together. It's as fun as it ever was, and it's a good time. Yeah.
I mean, even though we weren't playing together, we were always in touch, and so we were all really good friends throughout the whole time. So it's that aspect of it is really like the backbone to making a successful band, or at least a comprehensive band. So it worked that we were able to get along, and it was like we fell off a bike and just started playing everything like we were supposed to, and like a day hadn't passed.
Yeah.
When can we expect possibly this new re-recording of your old album coming out?
Hopefully next year. I mean, we're thinking digital release we'll probably do first, and hopefully see if someone wants to do an LP. If not, we'll just do it ourselves. That's the plan for now. Yeah.
One of the things that's always great to see after so long is when a band, for whatever reason, disbands and then comes back more healthier, more creative, and still very credible. Noctuary, thank you for taking time to talk to me.
Thank you, Jimmy.
Jim.